I started this book yesterday. I'm on chapter 2 and I guess I'm just going to give you my thoughts as I go along. I feel sick, so I'm just laying here and reading. The thing about Freida McFadden's books is I've read 2 other books by her, The Housemaid and The Gift, which was a Christmas novella that, do not read it. This one was so skinny, it deceived me. I paid for that. Read it for free if you want. I mean, personally, I wouldn't. I just thought it was a terrible book, actually. I don't want to get into it. I've already talked about it, but she writes very simply, very concisely. She also over-explains things. I think she writes her books, and if you wanted to, you could literally just read 1 chapter a day. Okay, so let me just clarify which chapter, particularly at the start of the books, she will just reiterate things all the time, and it's like, we know, we literally read about this a page ago. With her husband, we know that his parents are dead. We have been told multiple times in every single chapter. It's like, we get it. It's like she doesn't trust the audience to remember things because she's constantly repeating things. The lady in the book, psychiatrist, has written a book and she's used her like patients' accounts. Even though she hasn't actually given their real names, she's still giving their accounts. Surely she'd have to get like permission. She can't just be like writing it. Also, this is like a complete side note, but I've binge watched Heartbreak High. I just never watched it because when it first came out, I saw people on TikTok who were hating on it, but I watched it and it was actually so funny and I got really invested in it. Why did I actually really love it? So if you know any shows that are like similar, let me know. Something about these books, I read The Housemaid by her, and in there was just such intense body shaming. In this book, the psychiatrist is like talking about how she hates women who cake on makeup. I just feel like that's such an unnecessary thing to say. It's like really random. The type of language she uses to describe her patients, that's not what you do. I have some theories. I swear, if these are correct, it can't be. The main character in this book, her name is, I don't know what her name is. What's her name? Trisha. Yes, because Trisha Paytas. There's a past and present timeline, yes. If it was her husband, she'd notice his voice, you know what I'm saying? It better not be. And don't think I haven't forgotten about one of her patients, because she just started talking about this one random patient, how she was in a really traumatic night and like there was a guy that came through the woods and killed the people she was with and she was the one who survived. She keeps talking about that. Got to be linked to it. EJ wants oxycodone. Fun fact, I read an entire essay about that. Also, I fear that because I finished my last blue Takis last night, and they said these ones, blue Takis are my absolute favorite, but they're so hard to find. They're literally not anywhere. So all I have is these ones. My mum got these ones for me. They're like a thin little stick. They're so cute. I feel like they could have made these spicy, but no. It's just like lime flavored. But do you see these? They're like kind of orange. And because that colour is very similar to Queensland, I feel like in State of Origin tonight, Queensland are gonna win. We'll see. This is the current time and date. I will update you later. Also, I totally forgot at the start, Ethan, there's something going on because I remember now at the start when he saw like the psychiatrist's portrait of herself in the house, he looked at it and his eyes darkened. Something is like definitely going on there. I'm listening to rain sounds to help me focus, but I'm like a little bit more than halfway through. It's very repetitive. Something else about this author, she does a lot of telling. I don't like that in books. The only book series that like got a pass is Magnolia Parks, because that book series, it does not follow a typical linear genre or linear plot structure. Even then, I didn't like it and I still wish we learned more things. I see what was done here. I was right. I said Queensland was gonna win because I ate those chips and they won. They're always gonna win. It's 10:17. Don't ask me why I still have a February thing when it's June. But I finished this. I liked how everything linked in together. I feel like this lady's books are so good to read when you're sick, which I obviously am because you don't need much brain power. It's just vibes. You just read it. It's a very bingeable book. Like, I started this book yesterday and I finished it. Yeah, I thought it was entertaining. The best book I could have possibly read. I tried to read so many other books and I just couldn't focus. Especially books with series, I was like, I can't do this. I feel like the writing is also much better in this one than The Housemaid. Do with that what you will. Was this book predictable? There were some things I guessed, some things I didn't, and things that I didn't guess, I only had like a vague kind of, oh, I feel like this is gonna be connected in this way. Whenever I'm sick, I'm reading these ladies' books. If you're new, which you definitely will be, something about me is that I typically never do reading blogs like this. I don't have a single note, because normally I read the books and I write down notes, and then I say them on a different day. As you can see, I just have pages upon pages of notes. No, no more doing that. Really randomly though, near the end, the main character called the psychiatrist lady a skeleton. Again, it's just something that's maybe just points to their characters being horrible people. The fact that they just comment on people's bodies. And we're ignoring this. One thing before I forget, in Never Lie, she referred to someone as a psychopath as the diagnosis, which you wouldn't say that. That is not a diagnosis. So, currently on page 1, this is the second one. Then I wanted to watch a movie, but I had an assignment to finish first, so here is me submitting my assignment before the movies.
Let's see what the Turnitin score is.
I know you're afraid.
Can you guys see me? Okay, really quickly. So basically today I didn't read, so I'm not counting today. So I woke up really early and I did an assignment because I had an assignment due today, and I was so over this class, but it's my last assignment, so I was like, okay. Woke up early, did some of it, went to work, and then after work, I was basically at the shopping centre and I had to use the Wi-Fi to be able to submit my assignment because I literally brought my laptop. I brought my laptop with me so that after work I could immediately just work on it, and I got it submitted because then, guess what, I went to see a movie with my friends. It was The Watchers. All from Coraline, Dakota Fanning. She's in this movie. And it's so funny because at the start, it was like someone asked her what her name was and she said Caroline.
It's Coraline.
Caroline what?
Coraline.
And honestly, it was kind of giving Coraline vibes with like the way things were moving.
How can you walk away from something and still come back to it?
And then also the Princess and the Frog is also giving those kinds of vibes as well. I look really creepy. And also it's kind of storming. The storms is giving Stranger Things because the entire sky is like lighting up with orange and red. This is my quick little update. Look, that's my movie drink there. It's a lemonade I got. And I got some snacks, but yeah, I'm gonna go and I'll see you later. But today doesn't count. 1 down, 2 more to go. Okay, this is the second one, only 1 more to do now. This is my last assignment for this semester. I'm gonna be real honest with you. I don't remember the last time I talked to you, but that is the current date. I think the last time I spoke to you was Friday when I got back from movies. Saturday I did not read because I had work, and then I went out, Sunday I had work, and then I also had this module quiz. It was 50 questions. We had an hour to do it. Honestly, for someone who crammed content from week 7 to week 12 in a day, I kind of slayed. And then yesterday was Monday, and I had 3 assignments due. 3 of them all due before 5 p.m. Got 2 of them done before that. The other one I literally submitted 20 minutes ago. 2 of them were for the same course, and together that was worth 80%, and then the other one was worth 50%. I'm going to talk to you in the morning where we will resume reading The Hawthorne Legacy. Okay, so yesterday I fell off the wagon because I re-downloaded TikTok. So how many days do I have left of this challenge? Let's just go with we have 3 days left. Wait, no, how many books have I read? I've only read 1. Okay, so we need to finish 4 more books. It's 10:48 right now. I need to drive to the post office because I ordered this book. And instead of just leaving it at my front door, the guy knocked, but he knocked. This was last week when I was dying. So I was on the couch and I could not get up. This was before I even started this reading vlog. And I should have just got up because now I have to drive to this. I was almost just a podcast. Drive to this post office, bring a little slip and some ID so I can get this book. It's 1 book, and I think the book was like $15. Like, it's not a big deal. And I just need to go and get it, but I don't want to. And also, I'm on a book buying ban now. I'm not buying any more books. I'm looking at my TBR right now, and I'm not buying any more books. And I also need to buy a new bookshelf. I know I want to read Persuasion by Jane Austen. I'm gonna finish this. The problem with this is I was really enjoying it until then I got confused with something, so I looked it up. It was about her dad. I looked that up and I spoiled it for myself. And now I know things that the characters don't. That much through it. Also, the fact that I have a different cover doesn't even bother me anymore. Did I mention that these chapters are so short and like quick to get through? It's very cryptic. And the first time I read it, I loved that. But now I'm getting kind of irritated. It's like, just figure it out. So that's on me. That's totally on me. I know that's on me. I'm procrastinating because I don't want to get this stupid book. How much would they judge me if I just wore my pajamas? Would they judge me? I might meet my soulmate at this post office. Because, people say that sometimes things happen for a reason. I can't think of any reason why me having to drive to a post office would be better for me than them just leaving it at my front door. I want to watch Don't Worry Darling. I want Harry Styles in it. Just because I like the sun, how the sun is in the morning right now. Like, let me show you. See how the sun's just shine. Well, it's not shining in there because the things are sharp, but you know what I'm saying? I got it, and this was the book. Making sure it's got all the right page numbers. Okay. I'm going to show you the 5 books that I could be reading. Persuasion by Jane Austen. It's very thin. The Wicked King by Holly Black. It's also very thin. A Court of Mist and Fury. I'm currently in the middle of the Throne of Glass series, but technically I started ACOTAR first. Like, I read that like last year. I did not like it. So I've watched a few summaries, so I've been able to go into this without having to reread it. I started it last night. This is my bookmark. Then we have obviously the Hawthorne Legacy, the 5-Star Weekend. Like, I could read this outside because it's like really sunny and it could be like a vibe. I think it could be. Where the sun go? And obviously we've already read Never Lie. That feels like so long ago, probably because it was last week. But these are what I could be reading. To make up for the fact that I've only read 1 book so far and I had a hiatus in between the days, I might read an extra book. We'll see. Let's just read and see. I almost just said read and weep. Do you remember that movie? Also, I remembered what the movie was. If you've seen any of my other videos, I talk about how, like, there's this one movie that I watched when I was younger, and it was, like, the bodyguard, and I thought she was the princess. Then there's, like, a club scene, and then he, like, takes her out, and then he has to not be allowed to be her bodyguard anymore. I think it's that movie. But I saw an edit of it on TikTok. And it's something about, like, but she's not the princess, she's the president's daughter. But I don't have work today, and my uni semester is over. So, essentially, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I just feel like a little lost lamb. Yesterday, I scrolled on TikTok for hours upon hours upon hours. So, I don't know what to do with myself. This also feels sticky, like someone's got the little grubby hands on it. She mentions like real day things such as Netflix, and there's a brief mention of the pandemic, but she does it in a very like casual, effortless way. It's not like shoved in your face. And I'm on page 9. Honestly, the start was giving me the kind of vibes like, this is the first sentence. Another summer on the island is upon us, and as usual, we have a lot to talk about. I kept hearing it in Lady Whistledown's voice from Bridgerton. Also, is that right? The middle-aged woman thought better her than me, and then millennials and Gen Zers thought, if she doesn't want makeup, fine, but how about a polish and glow filter? Oh, okay, now I can see why she'd think that. What do you mean? Why do they include Brazil nuts and no one eats them? The only reason why I know what that is because of Rio and the Brazil nuts in there. Like the second Rio.
It's a Brazil nut. I want to show the kids how to open one.
You mean like this? Dad already showed us.
This is my food, and I'm also listening to the Hawthorne Legacy audiobook because I just was like, oh, I remember there's an audiobook for it. And I have a theory about her mom. I think it's the girl that was on the island with them. Like, I think it's that. Okay, so it's the next day, and I'm so invested in this storyline because I just randomly started reading it. So I did not finish any book yesterday, but that's okay because I read like many different ones, and I also got rid of TikTok again because that was my downfall because I kept going on TikTok. But I'm gonna go to work, and then when I get home, be able to read more because I got rid of TikTok. And that's my plan. It's very telling. You know how it's like tell, don't show, but she goes into detail with the telling, you know what I'm saying? Let's just all agree that I have failed this challenge, but that's okay because there is still next time, and I can still do this challenge again and actually succeed it next time. Okay. Literally, what is going on? I feel sick. I actually feel sick. Last night, I started reading The Hawthorne Legacy, and I couldn't get to sleep. Because I just can't get to sleep. After I finished the Inheritance Games, because, I'll tell you my thoughts on that. I'll just give you a little update. Then I started listening to Persuasion. And I found this AI one, and it's creepy, because you can hear, like, when they take in-breaths, like, you can hear that. So I'm like, why is an AI doing that? It's not breathing. That kind of scared me a little bit. I think I ended up getting to sleep around 6 a.m. I really thought I was over the whole note-taking thing, but at least I'm getting better because this is actually the day after yesterday. So it's not like I'm filming this weeks to months after and giving you my thoughts and opinions. Also, last night I did an attachment styles quiz. It may exhibit a mix of both avoidant and anxious behaviors, often oscillating. Whenever I hear that word, I think of Spare from Harry, the Prince guy. Have I read it? No. But I've heard enough about it to know what it's about and to know that there is that line. We're talking about, the snow situation. You may find yourself seeking closeness and then suddenly withdrawing. Imagine like a fictional rodent wanting to fight. That is what Avery turned into. She did. Also, it's so funny. It's so hilarious. But this last semester for uni, I took this course. It was like romanticism in literature. And we had to study William Blake's poems. And get this, they mentioned one of his poems in this book. And I just think it's so funny because I would have never drawn that connection. And then I was going through my TikTok before I got rid of it again. And I was just going through my favorites because for whatever reason, when I was scrolling on my normal For You page, every 2 scrolls, there would be some random person's live. And I don't watch lives. I don't like it. It stresses me out. Like, no. So I was like, okay, that's it. I'm so sick of trying to like skip people's lives. Okay, and also my screen was like freezing up a little bit. So it would look like I was pressing on it. Okay, to the point. So I was going through my favorites because like, I literally went through every single video I've ever favorited. Because obviously I favorited it. So I, mean, I know I'm gonna like it. But also, so many videos were like gone. And I'm like, see, what is that? As I'm looking at this book cover, I wish I had the blue one, okay? I wish I had the American version. But the UK version, it's like not that bad. And it's also funny because all the little silhouettes, it's them. Which like obviously, but the one at the back, he's wearing a cowboy hat because the guy, his name is Nash, he's like a cowboy. Actually, I think it adds a really nice little detail. However, if you look at it compared to the blue one, that's just better. I don't know, if I can find it somewhere for like really cheap, I'll get it. But if not, I guess I'm just gonna have to stick with this. I also need a new bookshelf. Have I told you that? I need a new bookshelf. This is what I said. This was my thoughts. I feel like not much is happening. I feel like I keep going around in circles. So yeah, quite a lot of it. It was just very like, you know, maybe like a little bit like, you know, but whereas I feel like in the first one, I just could be misremembering this, but I feel like it was a lot more like high stakes and this and that. And then this book just at the start and like the majority of it just wasn't. Remember when I said I looked up a spoiler about her dad and who her dad was and then I spoiled it for myself? Then I was like, actually, wait, I didn't spoil it for myself. I just got confused. And so I was genuinely thinking that. And actually, no, the spoiler that I saw was correct. So it's very strange because with me finding a spoiler and then thinking that wasn't a spoiler. And then being like, oh, no, it actually was a spoiler. And you gotta be careful when you look books up, okay? Because I swear so many times I'm looking information up about a book and I'll be like, oh, this character dies or this character is actually this person. And I'm just like, I did not need to know. I was just looking up some background information, okay? This is what I said. I said, I wish it was more suspenseful, but like, I don't know. And then I said, I'm furious. And what I'm furious about is I can't really say because it's like a spoiler, but just know that I was furious. And the thing I'm furious about is like, not her mom. I love her mom, but situations surrounding her mom and her mom's love life and everything. I was furious about that. This is what I also said. I said, I hope her mom is actually still alive. So I was just kind of convincing myself, you know, like this is YA. There's a chance. I feel like in a lot of YA novels, actually, I don't know, really, couldn't tell you an example, but I feel like it's often something where it's like, oh, actually, the character, they're not dead. Oh, yes, How to Train Your Dragon. His mom's not actually dead and everyone thinks that she is. So there's a chance that like Avery's mom could be alive. We don't know. I said things have picked up, yes. So then it got to a point where the things just started picking up like a lot. And it was like, oh, so this is the suspense I was missing. It was just kind of at the end. It was like, oh. And the way that things unfolded. And again, more people were irritating me. Eve, the people surrounding Eve, made me so mad. It just made me furious. I was just like so angry when I was reading this book last night. I was just like, you do not even, if I was overly emotional, I would have cried. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting ahead of myself. I wanted to discuss something. You know how she got a friend and her friend doesn't swear. So her friend will use things as like replacement words. So things like fax and like sheet and beach, you know. And actually her friend doesn't annoy me. And you'd think that she would because I'm often always talking about how characters annoy me and cringe me out and stuff. But I've come to a realization, if another character is cringy or another character is whatever, I don't care. Like, if the main character was like that, then, oh, okay, yeah, then I'd be annoyed. But it's not, it's her friend. And I think, like, it adds, like, a little personality trait to her. Because there are some people who are like that. It didn't annoy me nearly as much as I would have thought. I think that's so hilarious because I remember distinctly I was putting off reading this series because I thought it was the main character who was like her. And then, yes, and I was like, oh, wait, never mind, the spoiler was right. And then I said, I binged this last night. I couldn't stop reading. The start was definitely slower. And there were so many phases where I was like this. No, I'm sick. I'm gonna cry. This is not what I wanted to happen. And then I was like, OMG, I feel really empty. It's not bad. So yeah, after I finished reading it, I was just sort of like staring at my ceiling a little bit like, Now, My opinion on the actual like ending itself, everything is like wrapped up pretty much. Well, there's like one little pathway that we can still go down, you know, but for the most part, it's like we figured everything out. But I have the next one. The next one, I've been waiting since November. December. I've been waiting since then to read this book. It was the first book that I got because it was like $6 and I was like, whoa, I need this. Yeah, I already told you about this. I hope that everyone who wants that book can get it for $5. Also, yeah, I'm on a book buying ban. No more. You know, me putting all my books on my little like drawer things, like there's like a drawer and then like there's my bed. And like when I look up, I see them. Oh, it worked, because every single time I look at them now, I'm just like, wow, that's a lot of books that I haven't read. And I just don't want to buy anymore. That's why I try to read like 5 books in 5 days. It's not really like working. You know, real life stuff, uni is a thing, and so is work, and those take precedent over my silly little books. But what you need to know is that this book, I mean, it's YA. I still wish I read this when I was younger. 12. Can you believe it? When I used to read books when I was like 6 and stuff, the main character would be 12, and I'd be like, that is so old. But like what happens when I'm like, I just had a revelation. You know those books where the main characters are like 30 and 40 and they're really cringy and annoying, but so many people love them? Oh yeah. It's because the actual main character is older. This book here. Now I know why some people like this author. Because the main character in here, Hollis, she has like wrinkles and like a little bit of grey hair. And she's older and got a kid. So then people can relate to it. That's why they're doing so well. That makes sense. There's some books that I'm like, I actually don't understand how a single person could like that. And I just don't understand. But that does kind of make sense. I think if characters can relate, I mean, I don't know why you'd relate to certain characters, but what was the point I was making? Couldn't tell you. I like spacing out my books because I feel like if I try to read them too quickly, I get annoyed at inconsistencies that line up. But if I leave it a bit, you know. So I don't know if there's any inconsistencies. Normally when I read a series, I'm like, oh, and they said this, but it didn't line up with this. Can't tell you because I read this book a while ago, but I'm glad that I read it. And actually, yeah, when I'm off my book buying ban, I will be getting the other Hawthorne ones. I'm pretty sure that was the entire point that I was making at the start. I have a list of my notes of books that I want to get, but I can't until I read them. Just because, like, it's about, like, accountability, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm moving to the spoiler section now. But see you at the end if you're going to go to the spoiler section. If not, you can see me with the next book. You're probably wondering why I said you were going to see me with the next book and then all of a sudden there's just this giant pink flamingo balloon. All I'm going to say is that summer vibes, you know, summer vibes, and we're going to ignore the fact that I'm in winter. Okay, so I'm going to give a little update on this book. Basically last night, I don't know, I was just kind of showing you, but I have this because this is a gift for someone because it's their birthday today. But like, it's pink and it's a flamingo, and flamingos give summer, and this is about summer. And also I keep seeing flamingos. What does this mean? What does the pink flamingo mean? I looked it up and it wasn't too promising, but like I know that there is deeper meaning there. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some thoughts about this book. She will slay the girls' weekend. Okay, so with this book, what I've noticed is that she does a lot of like trying to, like one person, she's like, no, she's a millennial. Like obviously she's not gonna be answering any phone calls, and I was like, oh. And then it was like, oh, a 5-star girls' weekend. That's like something boomers would do. And I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm up to page 66. So I kind of already touched on this, but yes, I do think it's a little bit cringe. Like there was a part about Jacob Elordi and I was like, oh. Oh, also in that sentence, also she mentioned a raspberry white claw. I've never had that, but I can testify that the strawberry ones are good. And I'll be drinking that tonight because guess what? I have plans! Guys, this is so exciting. You guys, you do not understand. You do not understand. I have plans. I'm going out tonight. I'm going out tonight. I know this flamingo has nothing to do with that. This is for an entirely different situation, but I'm going out tonight. That is very exciting for me. I'll let you know if I meet my future boyfriend. I've learned that meeting my soulmate is going to be extraordinarily rare and will probably happen when I'm like 30 because, sorry I abruptly cut you off. There was just a man there that was looking at flamingo over here. The other day I saw a Snapchat filter that I did when I was 15. First of all, memories are a different thing. Oh, because, you know, memories, you know how it shows up like, oh, this time 4 years ago, and I was panicking about turning 16. That's beside the point. To the point. Aside from that, I did a filter and I was like, you'll meet your soulmate when you're like 26. And then I was watching one of those little tarot reader things and she was like, I'm seeing them at 26. And I'm like, what? That's too long away. That is actually ridiculous. I don't want to wait until I'm 26. So I've learned to now I'm just like, instead of saying I'm going to meet my soulmate, I'm just going to say future boyfriend because, well, I'm not waiting until I'm 26 for the love of my life. Things happen when they're meant to happen. Okay. Why do I have to wait? Why do I have to wait to be loved? Oh my god. this is not the point. So I was doing some research, and apparently this book is not a lot of people's favorite Ellen Hildebrand book. Like, a lot of people prefer her other ones, not this one, which I think is wonderful because it's my first book by her. So we can, you know what they say, when you hit rock bottom, there's only one way to go, and that's up. Why am I quoting a fictional koala right now from Sing? When do you think that I'll stop quoting fictional cartoons that I haven't seen in years? Kids movies I haven't seen in years? I can't remember anything important, but like I can remember kids movies and quoting kids movies. Like, why am I just randomly quoting a koala? There were flamingos in Sing. I'm going back from this. Weren't there? There is something about this flamingo. Also, random sidetrack. Get this a big W, right? The girl was so nice. I went there after work and I was like, basically, like, you had to buy these separately, and I went over to her and I was like, so if tomorrow I want to come in, because there's a sign that said we're closed until 9 a.m. tomorrow, so I was like, okay, well, obviously you can't do it, but I was like, so like if I wanted to get this blown up tomorrow, and she was like to me, oh yeah, I'm all booked out until like 3 p.m. and then she was like to me, but if you just want to get that one, I can just really quickly do it now for you, like right now. And I was like, honestly, everything goes my way. Like, what a nice lady. She just blew it up because the sign said that they were closed. And, you know, so that means I've got this. That's why I was lugging it around. You don't know what it's like to be stared at until you walk around with, like, a helium balloon that's bright pink and sparkles a little bit. And also, I had to, like, fasten this. So this is my hoarding. My sister got balloons for her birthday, and then I took these because I was like, oh, wait, this could be so many, like, scrapbooking maybe. I could, like, cut the little things off. No, I'm using it for this now. I was so scared it was going to fly away. And the string was so long. So, like, what I had to do was I had to, like, make it smaller by like just like winding it around a lot of times. But let me tell you, when I got out of my car, like I literally tied it to my bag because I was like, it's gonna blow away. But the string was so long that this looked like it was gonna like fly away. Like, it was so high up in the sky. Very scary. Very, very, very scary. The point I was trying to make is so far lost. Anyway, I could not tell you what this book is about. Like, I genuinely could not tell you what this book is about. Aside from the fact that this lady is inviting different friends from all different time periods of her life and getting them together after her husband died for the 5-star weekend. But like, look at the back. You know, I don't want to read all that. Is it a murder? I kind of just spoiled something for myself looking at the back. Maybe don't read the back if you want to go, like, in completely blind. Is it murderous? I think it could be, because, like, her daughter is coming to film everything, and everyone is like, why would you literally invite a stranger to this? So I think they're setting up for some sort of murder. So I guess, yeah, that's all I really know about it. Also, I wanted to just discuss something, because basically she has a car, and it's said that basically she leaves her keys in her car like a local, because, like, locals just leave their keys in the car and, like, don't take them in because they just trust everyone. Oh, I could never. And you know what? There are some people who don't lock their doors. Their front doors, their back doors, their side doors, their windows. Like, who is not locking them? You know, someone messes with her by, like, putting under a seat, whatever. It's a safe town. It's a safe town. Well, let me tell you something. I swear, all the true crime documentaries and podcasts start off with, you know, this happened in a town where nobody thought this would happen. Like, this town was a really safe town. All I can think about is, like, all these places would be, like, a thief's dream. There was someone in my neighborhood left his car unlocked because, like, that's just how he was. And all his stuff got stolen and, like, it was dumped in a random other neighborhood. And then the people, like, whoever owned that neighborhood was like, whose stuff is this? But, like, he didn't even notice that his stuff was stolen. I mean, it's not really stolen. Like, they just opened the door and took it. Okay, that is literally stealing. Do not get me started on people leaving keys under their mat in a pot. Who does that? Please tell me that that's only something that used to happen in the olden days and used to be something that is just only in books and movies, because tell me no one actually leaves their keys under a mat or in a pot plant or just somewhere at the front of the house. Are you actually kidding me? I would never be able to sleep. I already have sleeping problems. Like, I already can't sleep. But knowing the fact that at any point someone could, like, sneak up to my front door and just, like, go scurrying around there trying to find a key or whatever, and, you know, actually finding it, that's horrifying. I'm going out tonight. That's a Taylor Swift song. What I've noticed about Taylor Swift songs is in collaborations, like with the Fortnite one and the Snow on the Beach one with Lana Del Rey, and, like, the Fortnite one has Post Malone. Like, they don't really, like, in it a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're in it, but, like, it's like, if they weren't there, the song would have been, like, fine, you know what I'm saying? Speaking about Lana Del Rey is always playing at my work, and it's always the song. It's like, hit me and it felt like a kiss. That song is always playing. Snap. This basically looks like a flamingo, so just me with my bestie. My bestie's a flamingo. I did my makeup, and oh, I'm on chapter 8, and things things are being revealed. Like, what do you mean? Oh, so everyone's gonna link together, perhaps. And then this is me in the changing rooms trying on some random outfits. I ended up getting the long black skirt and then the long purple shirt. My outfit is matching the storm. Black and purple. I'm not even kidding. I need to do my makeup now. Licking the raw mixture is the best part.
You want to taste it? See?
That icing is really nice.
I don't think it's meant.
It's the right vibe to read this book, considering it's winter here, and it's the dead of winter.
It's making you cold reading all about the snow.
It is. Yeah. Oh, is he? I still can't get over when her back of her hand was ripped off by the glove. But I really like the scenery. I feel like the descriptions are very vivid. It really makes you feel like you're in the story. I think it's very descriptive and immersive. But I can't imagine being trapped in a snowstorm. That would be horrifying. I can't imagine being buried in snow. I mean, I've never even seen real snow. I feel like the snow would be horrifying. But did you know that if you're trapped in the snow, I learned from this book that you spit, and wherever your spit drips, you got to try to dig out, like, if you're buried under the snow. But yes, I really am trying to force myself to be understanding of this lady here, especially at the start with the guy, because, like, I get it, but also it's annoying. Another thing I like about the story is that all of the characters have distinct personalities, or at least distinct characteristics, I guess. And I suppose there's been some, like, convenience things, you know, like, oh, it just happened that the cabin door was unlocked, unless I think the owner wanted them to find it. But the tour guide leaving the bus unlocked, I mean, I suppose you're not really expecting anyone to, like, get out there and steal the bus, but... Yeah, I have my theory about... What I like about the book is that it's very bingeable. Like, you just want to keep reading it because you want to know what's going on. I really like the story. It is a bit gory, and I definitely think it should have been a Christmas book with the tree and the, you know, because it's like ornaments, really. So Simone in this book, she is like, shut up, and he's like, rawr! Like, well, she doesn't make, but she scratches the air. In Scooby-Doo, there's a movie called Scooby-Doo Zombie Island. There's a woman called Simone in there, and she's actually like a wild cat. She's literally a werewolf, and there's a scene at the end, and she like does the scratching through the air. There's a cat in this book called Dusty. It better not die, I swear. All the talk about her baking is making me wanting a sweet treat. This book is definitely like The Conjuring and Annabelle movies. Like, literally the start opens up with the neighbor looking out the window and the entire family leaving. And that is like an exact scene in one of the movies. But I do like this one, I think, so far. Even though I'm only that far in, better than the Dead of Winter one. Just because, I feel like the Dead of Winter one, it was a bit predictable. And, well, okay, it was very predictable. And the main character did kind of annoy me. And there was a lot of waffle with the scenery and a lot of waffle and descriptions. And I think it just went, at the start it was nice, but then just went overboard. And I just felt like it was being over-explained. Is it gonna storm?
Hasn't been very nice weather. Coldest.
So the girl that moved into the haunted house, it says rooms open into other rooms you wouldn't expect, and the hallway does this weird loopy thing that disorients me. So the place is haunted? I used to play this Mario game. Sometimes in the ghost houses, like levels, there would be doors that would open into random places. And sometimes I used to have nightmares about being in houses and they're opening up into different rooms and stuff. Scotch fingers with Vegemite and butter is so nice. It's delicious. Birds hitting the windows, that's in the movies as well. Yeah.
incredibly strong, and you would too, that it has
Ingenious behavior.
Hello you guys, basically I've unlocked a brand new location. I've never filmed it ever. This video has kind of morphed into trying to read 5 books in 5 days to just, let's just try to read 5 books. Let's just try to get 5 books read. And I think from my calculations, so far I have finished 4. That means we've got 1 more, which we'll get into discussing later. Also repainted my nails. They were blue before, but they were all chipped and getting on my nerves, so I painted them like just then. Yes, they're messy. Do I care? No, I don't. Oh yeah, basically, the people that I'm with, I was talking and... So I get distracted. I was talking to them about my book, and then I was like, hang on a second, what if I just like film this? Which means it's going to be less filming for me later, because what I typically used to do, is there like, I don't know, like something like that. Okay. What I sometimes do is I will take notes, and then later day I'll read them out. And I don't like doing that. So I have some notes here, right? But they're from last night. I'm going to talk about a whole bunch of books. I started reading this. I also started reading this, but I started reading them at night and then I fell asleep. So I'm at the point now where I feel like I need to reread them, but also I remember enough that rereading them is annoying. Both are second in fantasy trilogies with extra spin-offs, because this one has a spin-off and then this one, pretty sure it's getting a spin-off called like Spectacular or something. This book here will be a very quick discussion. First of all, my nails kind of match that. Kind of, a little bit. That looks more pinkish and my nails look more reddish. Caroline is getting on my nerves. I tried to be understanding with her because I was like, okay, well, you know, her dad died and everything, but also she's being so mean to her mum. She's being so mean. There's this other girl and she was just being so mean to her. And for what? I just can't get over literally how small the blurb is on the back. There was a mention of Billie Holiday in here. Basically, something my brain does, it just makes links with everything. If I've seen you here, it'll make a link between this person, that person, that person. If I read something, it'll make a whole bunch of links. But there's a mention of Billie Holiday in this book. And in Magnolia Parks, is it Billie Holiday? It is! It's prevalent. Does my hair look okay? I think I want to dye it like a dark, like red. I don't know, that's my natural hair color. And then these are like leftover highlights. Looks kind of bad. Like that. I don't know, but then also I don't know what I want to do, but I think I want like dark wine red hair. But then also, but also hair grows back. And like, say hypothetically I absolutely hate it, I can just dye my hair like brown and then just like let my natural hair grow out again. What was I talking about? And I just think you make the links between everything. I started reading this book today. This is Keeping 13. Is it like actually that serious? Like over 800 pages. There's a lot of abuse in this book. I'm very intrigued about Joey's book. This much to it. Can't even like, I prefer this one to the first one. I feel like the writing has improved a lot. The 2 books that I have finished reading. This is going to be kind of like review format because I kind of was giving my reading blog and I think I even got a few time lapses in there of me reading. So that's exciting because I don't really normally do that. But let's talk about this book. So yes, I read this book in a day. Also read this book in a day. Everything is all linked. Personally, I liked how it was all linked, but is it predictable? Yes, it is. When I say I literally guessed it immediately, like I guessed it immediately. There's a part in the book where I was like, hang on a second, maybe my theory was incorrect. No, it wasn't. It was right all along. So that's kind of annoying. So much as I'm trying to break it. You know what? There's an iron over there. I'll hit them with the iron. I'm kidding. I'm not a violent person. I don't remember the last time I ever watched something and the twist was twisting. Like, maybe when I first started watching horror movies, I was like, the first time I watched Scream and we found out who the murderers were, I was like, oh. And in 7, when the reveal of who that was, I was just like, jaw on the floor. 7 is my favorite movie, by the way. I've watched it a million times. The characters, some of them do say unintentionally funny things. There is some suspenseful parts. Sometimes I felt like the writing was clunky. And then she also uses like the same phrases a lot, like dry mouth or something. She said that about a million times. But I still enjoy my time reading this book. I would love to see this as a movie, but I'm pretty sure there's already enough that are kind of like the same vibe. So anyways, the ending is like mostly wrapped up. There is kind of like a question. It's like, hang on a second. Are those people like, there's questions, but for the most part it's all wrapped up and it's kind of just like opened a little bit, like not really. So at the start I was so excited for the characters. At the start I felt like the characters were like, okay, they have like distinct personalities and it's only going to get better from here. I feel like that just wasn't the case. Like there was one character and her whole personality was that she used to be a 911 dispatcher, and so she would often just give out like, oh, you know, one time there was this, I saw this, and one time there was like this. And the main character's like, she's like gives the vibe that she just always has little stories to tell. She said one story and said another story kind of immediately after, maybe a few chapters after, but then doesn't say it ever again until like the end of the book. And it's like, okay, well then what was the point of introducing that as part of her character when she doesn't even talk about another story until the end of the book? And I feel like there were so many other characters which I feel like were set up and then this weren't, and also sometimes I was confused. I'm like, wait, who is this again? I thought that the characters were set up well, but then I just essentially just all kind of fell flat, and I don't know. I suppose you could be like, well, you know, that was the effect of them living together. I don't think so. I think living them together in a little cabin. I think what it's about. I think it's what it's about. I think I'm gonna say it in voiceover, but basically there's a tour bus and they're going to a snow cabin and then they get stranded and then they have to live in the wilderness and then they find a cabin in the wilderness and they live in the cabin. And I feel like being surrounded by everyone, their real personalities would come out more and they wouldn't just all turn into each other. You know what I'm saying? This is all the characters in the book. That one down there is supposed to be like a stick, but I couldn't find a stick emoji, and also there was only like these branch emojis which I did not want to use, so I didn't use it. That is not how I imagined the cabin to be. How I imagined it in my mind, honestly, when I looked at this, the cover kind of ruined it, honestly. Let's talk about this. This book is a very standard book. I think I already said this, but it was giving like Conjuring vibes and Annabelle vibes and just, you know, that kind of whole multiverse. The long hair, like the ghost was described having like long hair that was like this. Okay, Samara. It was very short. It was like 230 pages. I liked that there was a link. One thing I do like this author, she does try to link things together. There were cats in this book. The cats are neglected a little bit at some stage. No cats die in this book, like The Conjuring, but even just as far as like having someone set up cameras. I think at this point, there is nothing that's going to ever not be predictable. Okay, name something that you don't think is predictable, and trust me, I will give you several different sources of fiction that are basically the same thing. Nothing will ever not be predictable anymore because everything, I swear, everything has been done. There's same as when there was all that drama with the music thing because some guy was trying to sue Ed Sheeran, was it? I don't know, some guy was trying to sue some artist, I think it was Ed Sheeran, saying like, oh, he copied my melody. I think, was it Shape of You? Don't know. I'm pretty sure the defense was like, okay, there's only so many chords you can have before things start, you know, repeating. And that's already happening with movies. Like, why do you think everyone keeps, aside from the cash grab aspect, why do you think everyone keeps redoing old movies? Because if you make a new movie with the same plot, it's like, oh, you're copying with that one. You know, something I want to talk about is that I don't know why this always has to be the case, but I feel like if there's ever like an evil character, it always is like, oh, they actually have a mental illness. Basically, multiple personalities, it's incorrectly referenced. The ending was like very happy. Now, was this book scary? Obviously, it was not scary. You need to make your environment scary. Let me tell you how this book would be scary. You need to go to kind of an abandoned town, be in one of the houses there, and leave all the doors unlocked. Maybe go to an area, I don't know, and then read it at night, and then make sure you go outside and turn off all the lights. Have no flashlights, have no phone, and then you got to make your environment scary to make the book scary. Now that is that. That is all I have to say. Everything so far is catched up for this video.
Yeah.
Sides in with me right now is liable to find themselves up to their ears in trouble.
Well, he's the skin cancer doctor.
So I'm back in my normal location. I really need to change my background. I was reading this pretty much all morning and I'm like halfway through it now. Things are definitely picked up in this book and I'm definitely more invested in it. Also, I was kind of having frostbite on my toes. Well, it wasn't really frostbite, but I don't know, they were just bright white. The middle two. I'll try to have diagrams here, but it looked like the color was bleached out of them and I was really concerned. Yeah, I had to put like my foot in a bowl of lukewarm water to get rid of it. And I think it's so funny because I was reading that Dead of Winter book and I was panicking. So it's fine now. I was very deeply concerned. And also I think that could have been my karma because yesterday while I was shopping for groceries, well, I was in this store and then all of a sudden I noticed this guy out of my peripherals because I just kind of notice people and I'm like, why is he like skulking around the store? I was all out. There was the store, a door there, the cash register. I see this dude come in and he's like skulking around. I'm like, what is this man doing? And then he grabs an armful of things and then he just walks out. And I was like, did he just steal something? I think he just stole something. But then I started second guessing myself and being like, well, did he? And then I made eye contact with one of the, like the cash register people. And then he just like looked at me blankly. And so I was like, did I? So I was thinking maybe my getting frostbite was like karma for not kind of like saying anything. But like surely if there's cameras, they would have got him. And besides, my friends work in supermarkets and they say that this wasn't really a supermarket. I mean, it's a food store chain. I don't know how to explain this. But yeah, my friend said that there's nothing I can do if someone steals. Like, there's nothing you can do. You can't chase after them. I work in retail. There's nothing we can do if someone steals. You just have to, like, let them go and call security. But, like, this wasn't in a shopping center. So, but I was like, is this my karma for not saying anything? I just talk so much. I literally had 120 minutes of footage. And I'm so sick of myself talking. I'm becoming lazy with the editing. Like, I'm leaving in parts which I would normally cut out, parts where I'm breathing, or parts where I'm taking a few seconds pause, or parts where maybe I'm stuttering over a little bit. I'm just leaving it in. Also, I'm so close to 100 subscribers. That means a lot to me.
See, what does that even mean? In her heart, she's eternally 17. Like, what does that even mean?
I apologize for this abhorrent angle, but I finished this book. I really want to go on a girls' weekend now. I actually really like this, having weekends away and be like really rich and like live on like a beach island. There is this girl called Brooke, and there's like this entire shopping section, and they go to a bookstore and she gets this book, and it's from a local author. It's set on a beach in Nantucket and has a blue cover. This author was basically saying her own book. I don't know what it was, but this book was very addicting. Like, I couldn't stop reading it. Also, when my book buying ban is over, I will be getting more of this lady's books, but as I'm on a book buying ban, I won't be able to. It's also winter where I live, so hopefully by summer I'll have gotten through most of my physical TBR, meaning I can go and buy whatever books I want. And this lady's, yes, will be more. Also, I feel like reading this lady's books in summer would be the vibe. What I had to do was I had the heater on in my house and I was, you know, pretending to feel the summer vibes. But you know what, yesterday was sunny and I did actually read this book a little bit in the sun. This book is written in third person, but we get a lot of people's perspectives. Like, we literally get Henny's perspective, Henrietta, which is a dog. So we get a lot of different people's perspectives in this book. There are a few things that I was like, what is the implication of this? There was this kind of weird longing to be 17 in this book. Like, the girl, she sees her childhood, well, not childhood, but like high school sweetheart, and she's like, I look at him and I see that he's 17 and 53 at the same time. Then when they're all together, it's like they were 17 again, sitting at like the table. So I don't know why there's such a longing to be 17. I remember being 17. It was a lot of things happened. When I was 17. At the end, yeah, I think some things are tied up, some things are not. It's a little bit open-ended, but like not really. It is not a thriller. It is simply just a fiction book about this. I don't know why I was expecting it to be a thriller. I don't really rate books because I feel guilty giving books bad ratings unless the book deserves it, or unless I really feel strongly and I know that if someone was to quiz me. I've rated a lot of books, a lot of things, and I think now, I don't know. Never look at my Goodreads. I don't even rate books, but all the books I rated before, I think some of them times I've rated them a little bit harshly, or I rated them too generously. So I just like to talk about the book. Will I reread this book? I think yes, when I'm older. Definitely, I can imagine myself being like 40, 50 and reading this book. And that is the end of this reading vlog. It was a very long reading vlog. I did not do the initial reading 5 books in 5 days, but I hope that's all good. And yes, I will see you in my next one. Bye. This is the spoiler section for the Inheritance games. Okay, so now I can actually tell you what I was thinking. I looked up something about Avery and I got spoiled because you know how her dad, it's like, oh, her dad's Toby. Well, when I looked it up, it was like, oh no, Tobias is like not her dad. And I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh wait, maybe it's just because it's the grandfather. You know, because I'm pretty sure they did like a DNA test on her then. Turns out, no, actually, Toby is not her father, Ricky is. But oh my god, her mom and how it all linked. By the way, I had that plot about her mom. My theory was that she was, what's the girl's name, Keely, on like the island. That was my theory, that the mom was Keely. No, she's the sister of Keely, so that's close enough in my opinion. And then obviously like Toby was like dragged out of the water and stuff, and because Avery was very much like, you're not my father, and he's all like, in my heart you were always mine. I'm gonna cry. I'm actually gonna cry. First of all, the evil maid being like, Grayson needs you, and then you know she gets like taken in and almost set on fire. They were like, Eve, she should be the rightful heir. You know, family, it's more than just who you're blood related to. She was like, you have a daughter, and he's like, I've got 2 daughters. Yeah, at least everything like kind of open-ended because Toby took the little disc thing, whatever that is. So I'm assuming that in the next book they're gonna try to figure out like what it actually is. I really wish her mom would be alive. This is such a first world problem to have. I'm getting mad at myself. Okay, so the brothers Hawthorne, who is this about? Grayson and Jemison. My opinion about who she should be with? Yeah, I think she should be Jemison. And, you know, I feel like if I was younger, I would have said she should be with Grayson. But honestly, Grayson, you know, for the most part, he's being very nonchalant and he's being like a blank wall to her. Look, my brain is not really thinking clearly. I gotta go to work, but I don't know. But bye.